This tournament has been crazy. This tournament literally is the definition of insanity. This tournament every single day always has some incredible stories and just some dramatic kind of talking points. And today in day 6, it was no stranger to that, as we saw a couple of more upset, and certainly we saw the host country now one step closer to moving on into the knockout stage. But either way, let's actually talk about these matches, and let's talk about these 3 matches. And as much as a lot of people are waiting for me to talk about the Egypt versus Russia match, because I've been saying that this is probably the biggest match for the host nation, and that this is going to be the one that will determine who will win Group A. And now, after what happened here, I think this might not just determine who's going to move on from Group A, but maybe even determine that the winner could be finished top of the group. But yeah, I'm going to talk about that last, and I'm just going to quickly talk about the first 2 games. So, first of all, we're going to be talking about Colombia versus Japan, which Japan won 2-1. And let me just quickly say that I did not watch this game, and I actually DVR'd this game. But the reason why I did not watch this game, I only watched 5 minutes after I literally just refused to watch this match anymore, is because of the commentating. And this commentator, which I forgot what exactly his name is, and I don't really want to know or care about his name, he is a Spanish broadcaster. He's clearly a broadcaster for Fox Deportivo, or not Deportivo, Fox Deportes, or Telemundo, or Univision, that is hired by Fox Sports, and he also do commentating in most of the Mexico game whenever Mexico play another team in a friendly. He always is a commentator on FS1, and let's just say that he is one of the most, and in my opinion, the most annoying commentator in the world. I mean, the thing that he said is just so cringy. It just, after 5 minutes, I just could not stand it anymore. Like, my ear was literally bleeding for at times of his orgasm whenever there's like a shot made, and I just thought, you know what, I might as well just watch the highlights of it, because I didn't do the DVR of the Telemundo one, so I was pretty much out of option. I couldn't really watch it, and I don't want to watch it on mute, because then I miss out on hearing the atmosphere of the crowd and hearing kind of like the analysis and stuff like that. So I just watched the highlights. And yeah, I would know now that next time when that same guy commentate in this World Cup, I make sure I DVR the Telemundo version one, because I just cannot stand him. But going back to this match, well, Colombia, you literally just shot yourself in the foot in the beginning of this tournament. And really, in this game, we finally saw our first red card of the tournament after 15 games that has been played where we haven't got a red card. We finally saw one, and it was one that is well deserved, because Carlos Sanchez in the 3rd minute, they decided to do a Luis Suarez kind of move. If you guys remember what happened back in 2010 in that quarterfinal match between Uruguay versus Ghana, and how Luis Suarez made that infamous save right around the 119th minute, and that was certainly one of the most controversial, one of the most infamous kind of play by him. And, you know, just to kind of quick talk about that play, you know, I understand why there's a lot of hatred toward Luis Suarez at that play, and certainly that's just another kind of argument of why Suarez is one of the dirtiest player in the world. But in that situation, and if I was in that situation, I probably could have done the same thing too, because, you know, imagine you're in the 119th minute, you're in the quarterfinal, there's a semifinal berth in place, and looks like there's a ball that is about to head into the back of the net, and if that one hits into the back of the net, then your team is out of the World Cup and that you would be 2-1 down. So, you know, it's definitely not a good thing to do, and I definitely don't advise anybody to do it whenever there's a game online like that. But with the stake and how so much was important in that incident, you know, sometimes you just got to do something illegal to try to maybe win a game. And yes, I know at the end of the day it will be seems like that is kind of cheating, and it will also seem like that you're gonna leave a bad reputation for the rest of your career. But at the end of the day, you got to do what is best for your country. But in this situation with Carlos Sanchez making that kind of Luis Suarez kind of save with his hand, that obviously is not the moment to do that. Like, seriously, it's only the 3rd minute in the game. You still have 87 minutes in the game. And, you know, certainly that shot by Kagawa was definitely going into the back of the net. And, you know, he, of course, had to use his hand to try to parry that out. But the thing is, even if you let that one go and hit it into the back of the net, Japan, of course, takes the lead. And, you know, that's obviously not good for Colombia. But at the same time, you will still have 87 more minutes to try to redeem yourself and try to get one back. And the thing is, that doesn't really help you out in any sense. I mean, if you do that, you just concede a penalty and potentially Japan will just bury it, which Kagawa eventually did 3 minutes later. So I don't understand what was Carlos Sanchez thinking. And if there isn't time where you have to do that kind of illegal play, this is definitely not the time to do it. So Colombia, of course, went down to 10 men on that. To their credit, they did fought back and got a goal back right around the 39th minute, but unfortunately they concede a set piece goal in the 70th minute. Osako basically headed it in to make it 2-1. And, you know, I don't want to really say that Colombia lost this game because of the fact that they were down to 10 men and the fact that Carlos Sanchez just made a brainless kind of decision to save that ball. But at the same time, you know, that's going to really, like, if Colombia does not move on in this tournament, this game will immediately come in everybody's mind. And this will be the game that you would think if they did not commit that red card, then they probably could have had a chance to maybe get an equalizer or get a point out of it, or even get all 3 points out of it with even strength. And, you know, if this game was at even strength, I would think Colombia probably could have won that. I mean, it wasn't like Japan was absolutely dominating after they went up a man in this game. You know, Colombia still showed some fight, and the fact that, you know, James Rodriguez wasn't really in this game until in the second half when he was subbed on. But still, you just think that if this game was at even strength, you would think that Colombia should have probably at least got a point out of this game. But unfortunately, we will never know because this game was never at even strength, and this red card could maybe potentially haunt Colombia back. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to say that Colombia, when they get knocked out of the World Cup, that they really got themselves knocked out after just 3 minutes in the World Cup. That probably might be the fastest time to get knocked out of the World Cup in history. I mean, that is just incredible. But, you know, credit to Japan getting the win, but, you know, Japan still have a long, hard battle for them. You know, this is a game that they kind of got lucky with the red card, and they were up a man for pretty much the majority part of this game. But it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to face when they play Poland and Senegal. And speaking of Poland and Senegal, let's talk about that one, which Poland lost 2-1 against Senegal, and there was definitely controversy in this game, and certainly the winning goal by Nian is a huge controversy, and certainly one that we'll be talking about in a long time, and certainly one that we might even make a reference later on if the same thing happens. So basically what happened during this incident was that Nian, of course, went down injured, and I want to put injured with quotation because it feels like he didn't really went down with injured. I mean, he literally just kind of lay on the ground, even though he didn't really get a lot of contact on him, and then he of course went off, and then when he was about to walk on, Poland, basically one of the Polish midfielder made just a really bad back pass, and then Nian immediately just sprint from the touchline, and he basically completely stole the ball away and goes around Wojciech Szczesny and pretty much just hit it into the open net to give Senegal a 2-0 lead. Now at the time, the Polish player were absolutely fuming. They were surrounding the referee, saying that how in the world did Nian just got back on the pitch even though he's just been injured. But if you saw what happened a couple of seconds ago, and before the bad back pass, the referee actually says that Nian can come back on the pitch. Now, credit to Nian, and certainly this is probably one of the most sneakiest kind of play we will ever see, is that he basically just, like, when he was going to be allowed to come back on, he basically didn't really come back on. He just stayed on the touchline looking to see if he's going to get like an opportunity where he can just like pick off a ball and completely surprise the Polish defender. And what do you know? That play definitely came when that play eventually did come to him with that bad back pass, and he of course took full advantage of that. And I know there are obviously some people said that, you know, that should be, in the future, that should be illegal, and the fact that they should have go to VAR for this, even though technically as of now that is one of the few plays that is non-reviewable on VAR. But it's just a very kind of sneaky kind of way, and certainly I think that's a goal that definitely would stand, and that's definitely a legal move. And you know, maybe down the line we might have some rules where the referee can only call the player back on the pitch when there's like a dead ball situation, and not doing when the play is begin. But then again, saying that, you know, we've seen before where players does come back when the ball is in play and there's not like a dead ball situation. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they're gonna try to reinterpret that. But Poland did get one back by Kukowiak in the 86th minute, but unfortunately it was too little too late for Poland. And really, I think for Poland, you know how I said in the preview where if Lewandowski is not going to make a big impact in these World Cup game, and how Poland is just really reliant on Lewandowski. If he does well, then Poland does well. Well, guess what happened in this game? Lewandowski did not have a good game. He didn't make a big impact, and because of how we've been seeing Poland play in these last couple of games, you exactly saw what just happened. When Lewandowski did not have a big impact, Poland does not have a good performance, and this was definitely not a good performance by Poland against Senegal. And you know, credit to Senegal for getting this win, and certainly now they're sitting in a very good spot to potentially moving on into the next round. But then again, I just think that still, after what we saw in these two matches and in this group, it is still a very unpredictable group, and that I think anybody can still beat anybody in this group. And you know, we're gonna see how it's gonna go forward for all four of these teams into match day number 2. And speaking of match day number 2, we already have a game in match day number 2, and basically gone all the way back to Group A, which is between Egypt versus Russia. And like I said, this was probably the most important match for both of these teams, because I really think the winner of this match can potentially move on into the next round. And Russia, of course, was able to get that crucial win as they beat Egypt 3-1. Goals for Russia, Fatih with a own goal in the 47th minute. Although this is probably one of the weirdest own goal you will ever see. I mean, he basically kind of dragging. I think he was dragging Cheryshev goal, and then he basically just kind of went off balance for some reason as he tried to pull Cheryshev shirt, and as the ball was coming in, that ball basically hit his leg, and then it just bounced it into the back of the net. I mean, so far there's been just a lot of own goals this tournament. I think that's like the 5th own goal this tournament, which is already the same amount we had in the last tournament in Brazil. But that one probably is one of the weirdest and one of the most unfortunate one. And you could kind of argue that that own goal is a result of Fatih basically decided to try to be strong and trying to kind of like win the ball and stuff like that. But still, it is what it is. It is still a very unfortunate situation, and I don't know if that goal really kind of was the reason why Egypt kind of collapsed, because really Egypt did collapse in this game, and it all started in the 59th minute with Cheryshev getting a goal there to make it 2-0, and then after that Egypt just stopped playing, and then Russia got another goal thanks to Zuba to make it get 3-0, and at that point it was just game over for Egypt. I mean, Egypt did get another goal back in the 73rd minute after Russia conceded a penalty, and Mohamed Salah, of course, puts it away. But Russia, I mean, this team now have 6 points in Group A. They're now top at Group A with a +7 goal differential, and they have 8 goals so far in this tournament. I mean, if I would have told you in the beginning of the tournament of how Russia right now could be at the top of the group, and they're sitting like they're going to potentially be winning this group, and that they have scored 8 goals, which is the most in this tournament, and also they have one of their player, Denis Cheryshev, scoring 3 goals now in the tournament, which now ties with Ronaldo for the Golden Boot race. You would be just laughing at me right now. Like, you would think I am just seriously drunk and something like that. Like, everybody did not expect Russia to do well this tournament. Not even their own fans thought that they were going to do well this tournament. They thought that it was going to be just a tournament where they'll probably get a result against Saudi Arabia, but eventually in that crucial game between Egypt and Russia, they're going to just kind of like bomb out, and then they'll just kind of exit the tournament after Uruguay beat them in the 3rd game. But they have completely defied the odds and completely turned everybody's heads, and just completely goes against the critics. And right now, they are definitely in a position to not only move on, but actually finish top of the group. And I think if I remember when I did the Group A prediction, I actually put Russia in 2nd place. I hope I did, because, I just had a feeling with Egypt, the fact that if Salah is going to be, 1, he's got to be close to 100% healthy, and 2, he has to make some big impact for this team, because a lot is falling on the shoulder of Salah. And in this game, even though he did score a penalty, he did not do enough to just say that Egypt potentially can get something out of this and get a point out of this game. And unfortunately, that probably was pretty much the difference maker, and I just had a feeling that maybe Russia would kind of like surprise somebody, but at the end of the day, this was not what I expected with them scoring so many goals this tournament. I mean, the football that they've been playing, the goals that they've been scoring, especially this Zuba goal. I mean, this was just a hopeful ball up in the air, and Zuba basically just chests it down and take a touch and basically shoots it into the back of the net. That is a world class of a goal. That is a goal you see Brazil, Germany, France, or even Argentina make. And to see that goal scored by a Russian player, that is not what you expected. Right now, what Russia is doing this tournament, they look like the Brazil of this tournament right now. They look like a world-class team, and everybody forget that this is the team that coming into this tournament with a manager that is clearly completely inept and certainly are not a fan favorites, and they also have been winless in 7 previous games. And yet somehow they have won their first 2 games, and it hasn't even been close of how they have won their first 2 games. So certainly my hats off to the Russian in terms of how they've been doing in this tournament. And you know, this is gonna be very interesting to see where Russia is gonna do. I'm actually really excited to see what they're gonna do again when they play against Uruguay. Are they going to continue this kind of good form? Because the way that they're playing right now, they're definitely can pull a big upset against Uruguay. And just the way that this tournament is just, it feels like the underdog team can always find a way to beat the bigger team, because that's just the way it is. And yeah, I mean, holy crap, what a tournament it is. And really, just let me know in the comments below, what do you think about today's action, and just give me your thoughts on what's going to happen next in this tournament. Because right now, even though we're only a week into it, this has already been by far the best tournament that I've ever been part of. And if you're a fan that has been watching the World Cup for the last 20 or 30 years, you got to say that this has been the best in all of the World Cup in the last 20 and 30 years, because it's just so unpredictable. Like, the parity in this World Cup is like nothing we have ever seen in the World Cup before. And it's definitely good that of course is the thing that we're going to be talking about so far. Consider how coming into this tournament there was so many political and certainly so many scandals and so many negative things that we don't want to hear from a sports kind of perspective that has happened in this tournament. So certainly I am definitely excited for tomorrow's action, and I will of course be preview it tomorrow. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash that subscribe button. And actually, I said that I was gonna preview it tomorrow. I actually said that wrong. I was actually gonna preview it today, and I'll do it like right after when I finish this video. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.